The Marvel Cinematic Universe to date has been full of surprises. While comic fans have seen their favorite characters and story arcs come alive on the big screen, Marvel Studios has been really great at taking creative liberties and adapting their classic comic stories in new and inventive ways. So much so that there's a ton of speculation as to what the future of the MCU will be like, especially after the events of Avengers Endgame. So today we are returning to our list of the top 10 major Marvel MCU movie predictions with a part 2, talking post-Endgame fan theories. And heads up here friends, there are spoilers for Avengers Endgame and a handful of other MCU movies on this list, mainly just Captain Marvel though. You have been warned. Now before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to a brand new channel of ours called Tier List. It's all about ranking various topics, things, people, you name it, by the hosts from our different channels. Click on over here to check it out. We will be choosing one lucky winner from the first 10,000 subscribers who will have a chance at winning $250, so be sure to head on over there and subscribe. Alright, now on to our list. In at number 10, Black Widow's solo film. There's been a lot of talk lately about Black Widow's solo film. Since the character died in Avengers Endgame, fans have been speculating as to when her solo movie will take place, assuming that the character isn't somehow going to be resurrected, although that is a theory that some believe, despite many others thinking that her sacrifice for the Soul Stone is one of a kind, and it's a death that can't be undone by Infinity Stones. Anywho, there's a few theories pertaining to this. One is that the solo film will take place during the 5-year gap that occurs in Avengers Endgame. Another theory, which is quite popular, thanks to a user on Twitter named DistilleOnFire, there's speculation that Sebastian Stan, who plays Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes, had stated that the Black Widow solo film will take place during Captain America's Civil War. This has led to speculation that Chris Evans will be reprising his role as Steve Rogers after all, appearing in the film alongside her, as the two of them are on the run as war criminals. In at number 9, Monica Rambeau. The Captain Marvel feature film gave us a glimpse at a young Monica Rambeau, the daughter of Carol's best friend and peer Maria Rambeau, whose call sign was Photon, the name of a superhero who Monica eventually becomes in the comics. While Captain Marvel took place in the 90s, in the current timeline when Avengers Endgame concluded, Monica would arguably be a young adult, even if she was snapped. Many are speculating that in Captain Marvel's follow-up feature, we'll see Monica become Photon, and she may end up working with Carol, or against her, resentful that Carol left her and her mother so many years ago. Moving on to number 8, The Black Knight. While Monica seems to be a given, another potential hero that's still kind of up in the air but has still caused quite a stir amongst fans is the Black Knight. According to rumors, the character has been discussed a lot by Marvel Studios as a character meant to join the MCU in the next upcoming phases. The Black Knight, aka Dane Whitman, is a character who first appeared in the Avengers issue 47 back in 1967. He is a descendant of the original Black Knight, and a supervillain who is also called the Black Knight. His nephew, rather. Plus he carries around a mystical sword, which is kinda cool. It's believed the character may have already been introduced according to another fan theory though. The Quantum Realm in the Ant-Man and the Wasp film may have had a secret hidden city located within it, an Easter egg that fans had picked up on. Twitter user Jeremy Conrad made a claim on social media that Marvel plans on using the Quantum Realm to introduce the character. It's actually the only connection between the two currently, although the internet is like really hyped about it. Plus, Dane Whitman's love interest is also coming to the MCU, Cersei, one of the Eternals in the upcoming Eternals film, who will be played by Angelina Jolie. And in addition to that, Marvel has also recently released reprinted comics that feature the Black Knight in them, which is a interesting choice, unless it was done for marketing purposes. What do you guys think? Let us know in those comments below. Moving on to number 7, No More Avengers. We mentioned on our part 1 of this list that there's been a lot of speculation concerning what characters will make up the new Avengers team moving forward. But one theory suggests that instead of planning a major story event like the first 4 Avengers films, the MCU won't do something big until after the next 2 phases, focusing on more solo adventures and scaling things down. This means there will be no Avengers team. While this seems to go against how the MCU has progressed in the past, and also doesn't seem like it would be financially viable, there could be another event in the works that doesn't lean on the Avengers, and instead leads to our favorite remaining superheroes teaming up only to realize that, hey, maybe they should restart the Avengers after all. In at number 6, MJ is Nick Fury's daughter. In Spider-Man Homecoming, we learned that Zendaya's Michelle is actually MJ, Michelle Jones. Many assume that her character will be filling in for the role of Mary Jane Watson, but one redditor by the name of Find My Wallet has a theory that she's more than she appears. They suggest that perhaps MJ is the daughter of Nick Fury, secretly keeping tabs on Peter Parker, mainly because Parker has a history of having complex relationships with his friend's parents. We know that Liz's father turned out to be the Vulture, Vulture, played by Michael Keaton. In the comics, his pal Harry Osborn is the son of Green Goblin's Norman Osborn. Now from the trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home, we learn that MJ knows that Parker is Spider-Man. What else could possibly connect her to Fury? Well, Fury has made an offhanded comment about his wife having kicked him out. MJ is anti-government, which could be a nice trait that could be derived from Fury being her dad. Some of her outfits resemble Fury's style. It could explain why Ben Mendelsohn, the Skrull Talos, appeared in human form at the end of Endgame in the background of the shot in which Peter returns to school for the first time with his classmates. They also theorize that MJ's mother could be Maria Rambeau, with Maria and Fury having hooked up after Captain Marvel took off into space at the end of her solo feature. So many possibilities, but will it actually pan out to be true? Moving on to 5, the A-Force. Jumping back a little bit to the No More Avengers theory we mentioned earlier. This theory could be one of the stand-ins if the Avengers disappear from the MCU in the next few phases. One of the biggest fan service moments in Avengers Endgame that took place during the final epic battle with Thanos, outside of the Avengers compound, was when all of the women of Marvel, the remaining living heroes, took a stand and fought together alongside Captain Marvel, with a line throwback to something that Black Widow had said during the Battle of Wakanda in Infinity War: "She's not alone." Some fans saw this as the beginnings of an introduction to the A-Force, an all-female superhero team. This rumor has only been further perpetuated by Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel, noting that she'd be super into an all-female Avengers movie, and that it would be cool to see all the female heroes interacting. And according to rumors, Tessa Thompson, Zoe Saldana, Karen Gillan, Scarlett Johansson, and more of the MCU female actors have actually pitched the idea to Marvel Studios. So hey, who knows? Maybe it might be a thing. Moving on to number 4, Kang the Conqueror. There's been a lot of chatter concerning who the next big bad of the MCU will be. Thanos leaves some pretty big Titan-sized shoes to fill. But since time travel was one of the core elements of Avengers Endgame, many fans have begun to speculate that the next primary antagonist in the MCU will be a villain whose jam is traveling through time. We're talking Kang the Conqueror. Kang first came to be in the Fantastic Four issue 19 back in 1963. The story goes that in the 31st century, a scholar named Nathaniel Richards, who was possibly a descendant of Reed Richards, becomes fascinated with time travel and stumbles upon one of Dr. Doom's inventions that makes use of time travel technology. He goes back to ancient Egypt, becomes a pharaoh named Rama-Tut, and is later defeated by the time-displaced Fantastic Four. He eventually reinvents himself as Kang the Conqueror after returning to the 31st century and conquering a war-torn Earth. But because that Earth is dying, he decides to go conquer an earlier version of Earth, traveling through time again and becoming an enemy of the Avengers. So obviously, there would need to be a lot put in place in order to set up Kang that hasn't been established already. In other words, the Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom. But that being said, it's quite possible that if the MCU were to introduce Kang, they could easily work around these missing characters, similar to how Adam Warlock was left out of the Infinity Saga despite playing a major role in the comics. Up next, number 3, Namor is Black Panther's next villain. In our previous part 1 of this list, we mentioned the line in Avengers Endgame that some believed was a hint to Namor existing in the MCU. When Natasha is getting a status update from various heroes scattered throughout the universe, Okoye, the head of Black Panther's Dora Milaje, mentions that there was an underwater earthquake. While many just took this as a throwaway line, some believe that it was a subtle reference to the King of Atlantis, who, historically in the comics, has beef with T'Challa and Wakanda. There's also a moment in Iron Man 2 where Fury meets with Tony Stark to talk about the Avengers Initiative. The two are surrounded by holographic screens, one of which points out the ocean off the coast of Brazil, meaning that perhaps Atlantis is situated in the Atlantic Ocean between Brazil and Africa, where the tectonic plates were noted to have been shifting in that comet that occurs in Endgame. The thing is, despite Marvel Studios having noted that they would love to bring Namor to the MCU, Namor's rights are still a bit of a legal mess, meaning it's really up in the air whether the character will be entering the cinematic universe anytime soon, if at all. Up next, number 2, Secret Wars. We mentioned on our previous list that many fan theories have speculated that Secret Invasion would be the next big saga to take place in the MCU now that the Infinity Saga has wrapped up. Makes sense, considering the Skrulls were introduced into the MCU during Captain Marvel's solo feature. But the other popular theory about the direction of the MCU that has been getting much more traction since Endgame is that Secret Wars will be the next big story event that all of the phases will lead up to. There has been 2 Secret Wars in the comics, the first and arguably better arc taking place between 1984 and 1985. In it, the cosmic entity the Beyonder observes the 616 universe and decides to teleport heroes and villains against their will to take part in a competition in Battleworld, a planet that he created. The Beyonder is basically an omnipotent force and would be a deadly villain to face off against, bringing together the MCU characters. It would also act as a way to easily introduce other new characters to one another, specifically the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Dr. Doom plays a big role in that story, and maybe Deadpool. The Beyonder could pull from various universes rather than just the 616 MCU one. Another theory is that rather than the Beyonder, we may see Secret Wars play out in a similar fashion as Civil War did, except orchestrated by the Grandmaster, who's still kicking around, assuming that the people of Sakaar haven't murdered him off screen. Here's hoping. I mean, it's Jeff Goldblum. He can't be dead. And finally, in at number 1, Adam Warlock and the Infinity Stones. At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we learned in the post-credit scenes that Aisha, the Golden High Priestess of the Sovereign, who has a grudge against the Guardians and tried to kill them on Ego, has been working on a powerful secret weapon, something that resides within a big golden cocoon that was implied to be Adam Warlock. She says, I quote, "That, my child, is the next step in our evolution. More powerful, more beautiful, more capable of destroying the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think I shall call him Adam." Yeah, seems about right. A redditor by the name of Danny Jerome Zero came up with a theory that suggests thanks to Adam's existence, the Infinity Stones, which Thanos destroyed in the Prime timeline, aren't actually gone. We know that thanks to Wong, the Infinity Stones are crucial to universal balance, and from the Chosen One that removing them from a timeline could have dire consequences. In Endgame, Thanos says he reduced the stones to atoms, which this theory suggests is actually a play on words and an Easter egg referring to Warlock, and that Thanos actually gave them to the cosmic hero. While it seems quite unlikely that the Mad Titan would just give up the stones to someone we've never seen fully on the screen before, there could be a tie-in there, considering the powers and abilities that Warlock has, and his history with the stones. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other predictions do you have for the future of the MCU? Give us a shout in those comments below and share all of your thoughts and theories. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more lists just like this one. Also, we have that brand new channel that you guys need to check out. It's called Tier List. Make sure you click on the link and subscribe. You could win. It could be awesome. There's also a lot of good banter. Just do it for the banter. In the meantime though, thanks for joining us. I'll catch you all in the next video.